Dera Sacha Sauda chief Gurmeet Rahim Singh has once again walked out of prison, and this time on a 21-day furlough. His latest temporary release has brought renewed attention to the repeated parole and furloughs granted to the jailed Dera chief since his conviction in 2017. Rahim walked out of the Haryana's Sunaria jail in Rohtak early today. Under the latest order, he has been allowed to remain at the Dera Sacha Sauda headquarters in Sirsa for 21 days. He is expected to reach the Sirsa Dera after the release from prison, and the latest furlough is Rahim's 17th temporary release since he was convicted in the rape cases in 2017. It is also his third temporary release of 2026. Earlier this year, he was granted a 40-day parole in January and a 30-day parole in May, and his latest release comes less than 2 months after he returned to prison following the completion of his 30-day parole. Well, in August 2017, a special CBI court in Panchkula found him guilty in both the rape cases. He was sentenced to 10 years of imprisonment in each case, with the sentences ordered to run consecutively, taking the total sentence to 20 years. His conviction led to widespread violence in parts of Haryana and Punjab. Large numbers of his followers gathered after the court verdict, and clashes broke out in Panchkula, Sirsa and other areas. Well, more than 40 people were reported killed in the violence that followed the conviction, and the Dera chief has also faced separate murder convictions. He was convicted in connection with the murder of former Dera manager Ranjit Singh and journalist Ram Chandra. However, the Punjab and Haryana High Court later acquitted him in both the murder cases, and despite remaining behind bars, Rahim has repeatedly been granted temporary releases over the past several years. His first temporary release after his conviction came in October 2020, followed by another in May 2021. And since then, he has received multiple paroles and furloughs of varying durations. In 2025 alone, Rahim was granted a 30-day parole in January, a 21-day furlough in April, and a 40-day parole in August. Well, in 2026, he received a 40-day parole in January, followed by another 30-day parole in May, and with the latest 21-day furlough, the number of temporary releases since his 2017 conviction has reached 17. The frequency of all these releases has repeatedly attracted political and public scrutiny. Rahim has a significant following in Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and several other parts of the nation. And because of this support base, his temporary releases have often become politically sensitive, particularly when they have taken place close to elections. Well, for example, his 20-day parole in October 2024 came shortly before the Haryana Assembly elections, and his 30-day parole in January 2025 was also granted ahead of the Delhi Assembly elections. The timing of such releases has led to questions from political parties and other organizations about whether temporary releases of high-profile prisoners should be scrutinized more closely around elections. Sikh organizations have also criticized the repeated temporary releases, as the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee has previously raised objections over the number and timing of paroles and furloughs that is granted to the Dera chief. There is also an important distinction between parole and furlough, as both allow a prisoner to remain outside jail temporarily, but they are governed by different rules and conditions. Well, in general, furlough is treated as a form of temporary leave during which the period is counted towards the sentence, while time spent outside prison or parole is generally treated differently and may be added to the sentence, depending on the applicable rules. Well, the latest order, therefore, does not mean that Rahim has been permanently released or that his sentence has been cancelled. He remains a convicted prisoner and is required to return to the jail after the 21-day furlough period ends, subject to any further order or legal development. Well, another notable aspect of the latest release is the location where Rahim has been permitted to stay, and during some of his earlier temporary releases, he was sent to the Dera's ashram in Bhagpat, UP. Well, in recent releases, however, he has increasingly been permitted to stay at the Dera Sacha Sauda headquarters in Sirsa, and the latest furlough also allows him to stay at the Sirsa headquarters. His repeated temporary releases have therefore once again raised questions about the prison furlough and the parole system, especially in cases involving high-profile convicts with large support bases. And supporters of such releases point to the provisions that is available to the eligible prisoners under the prison rules, while critics have questioned the frequency and timing of Rahim's temporary leaves. And for now, the Dera chief is out of jail for 21 days. He is expected to stay in Sirsa during this period before returning to prison. And with this latest furlough, Gurmeet Rahim Singh has once again become the focus of national attention as his 17th temporary release since his 2017 conviction reignites the debate over parole, furlough and the treatment of high-profile prisoners. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.